So welcome back once again here in our new section of the course Coding for Web with PHP, or what we can say that practical PHP. So here we are going to start with the PHP loops. So what exactly is the loops? In order to understand the loops, we will say that there are certain code in our program that we need to execute again and again until a certain specific condition is fulfilled or not reached. So in that case we have to use some statements over there in the PHP script or program, and that is what called as the loops in the PHP. If in take in a practical example, if somebody asks you to fill a big basket of capacity 30 liter of water, so it is difficult for you to pick that bucket, use bucket and bring it to the well and get it filled in one go. So what you will do, you will take a small bucket of say size 5 liter and you will start go to the well, then you fill small bucket of liter 5 size liter, fill it with water and pour it in the big bucket. So you have to repeat the same task 6 times in order to fill the 30 liter bucket. So same here we are going to do over there. So sometimes we need to execute code again and again till a specific condition is not met over there. So for that we have to use the concept of loop over here. So in PHP we are having the following type of the loop. First is the while loop, then second is the do while loop, third one is the for loop, and fourth one is the for each loop here. So what is the while loop that we have to understand? The while loop execute a code of block as long as a specific condition is true. So syntax, how we use while loop. Here we write while and then we use parentheses over here, and in the parentheses we write the condition. Now if that condition is true, the loop's body will get executed, and after one execution it will again check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will again execute the while's body. If condition is not true, then it will exit out of the loop. So here the condition we have to set here, and then we have to write the body of the loop in the curly brackets here. There is comes as another do while loop, that is the second loop available in the PHP, that is do while loop. Will always execute the block of code once. It will then check the condition and repeat the loop while the specific condition is true. So here we use the syntax this way. First of all we have to write the do, then we have to write the body of the loop here in the curly bracket, and in the last we have to check the condition. Now what is the difference? We see what is the difference between the while and do while loop. So the basic difference between the while loop and do while loop is that whereas in the case of while loop it will first check the condition and then execute the body of the loop. Okay, so whereas in the case of do while it will at least execute the body of the loop for once and then it will check the condition. So it's totally depend upon the user, or what we can say the developer or programmer. So what condition he want to put over there. First, if he want to check the condition first and then to execute the body of the loop, then he has to go with the while loop now. Or in other case, if he want that a loop will get executed at least for the once and then the condition has to be checked, then he has to go with the do while loop. So that is the basic difference between the while loop and the do while loop. Now here comes the another loop, that is the for loop. The for loop is used when you know in advance how many times the script should run. So syntax here is for the for loop. Here for loop we have to write, then we have to start the parenthesis over here, and within parenthesis we have to set the 3 conditions over in this case. So first condition is initialization of the counter, second is test counter, and third one is increment or decrement counter, and within these curly brackets we have to write the body of the loop. So parameter is that first is the initialization counter. Here we have to set the initialization point for the counter from where the loop will get start. Then in the second we have to set the test counter. Test counter means here we have to set the condition for the loop, that how many time loop will get iterate. Okay, or we can set the condition over here, what will be the condition for the loop here. And in the third case we have to go with the increment or decrement there. So if we take the example of a big bucket and small bucket over there, and we know that there is a big bucket is having the capacity of 30 liter and small bucket is having the capacity of 5 liter. So we know in advance, in order to fill the 30 liter of bucket, we need to have 6 buckets of capacity 5 liter to be put into the big bucket, so that the big bucket will get filled with the water. So here the initialization condition, that is initially we are having the 0, we don't have water in any of the buckets, so condition is 0, and we have to make it up to 6, that we have to go for the 6 bucket need to fill the big bucket. So that's why we have to set the condition, that is we have to repeat the same task until we put the 6 bucket into the big bucket. And here in this case we have to increment first bucket, then second bucket, then third bucket, then fourth bucket, and we have to increment. So same way, if sometime we have to go with the decrement over there, if we have to empty that bucket, big bucket, using small bucket, then what we have to do, we have to take one bucket from there and put it in back into the well, then second bucket. Here in this case what we are doing, we are decrementing here. Or sometimes we have to go with the decrement. This may not be the I just not putting the better example for the decrement here, but sometimes you need to say you wanted to display a number from 100 to 1, or you wanted to display something in opposite order. Say you wanted to display counting of number from 100 to 1. In that case you have to go with the decrement. That is, first number you have to display over there is 100, then 99, then 98, then 97, then 96. Here in this case we have to give the third parameter as decrement counter. Okay, so this is where we will use for loop in PHP. And in the last we are having the fourth loop here in the PHP, is that is the for each loop, and this is used in case of array. And if we wanted to iterate the elements or key values of the array or pair in the array, so then we have to use the for each loop. So in this chapter or in this section we are not going to cover this for each loop, that we will cover then when we will start the section of array in our course. So syntax for this is for each, then we have to write here the array as value, and here we have to write the code that to be executed on the condition of array. So for every loop iteration, the value of the current array element is assigned to a variable value, and array pointer is moved by 1 until it reaches the last array element. So what actually the array and array element, that we will cover in the unit that we will learn in PHP arrays. Here one we have to use two more statements with the loop when we use loop, either while loop or for loop, and that is the break statement and the continue statement. So break statement is used earlier chapter of this tutorial. We have already done with the switch statement, that is used for jump out of the switch statement. Same here is the break statement can also be used to jump out of the loop. So if at a specific point we wanted to come or we wanted to jump out of the loop, okay, so in that case we can use the break statement between the loop. And the continue statement break once iteration in the loop, and if specific condition occurs and continue with the next iteration in the loop. Okay, so continue statement is used in, like we have started a loop at particular condition. I just wanted to say that I wanted to start a loop at a new point or at a new iteration over there. So in that case I just can use the continue statement. So more elaborately or more explanatory I will show you by example in the coming video, that we will take one by one for each loop and how to use them in PHP. So that's all for now, and see you in the coming video with some more interesting topic. That's all for now. See you in the next video.